The message of Archangel Michael comes with a sense of urgency that cannot be ignored, for his sacrifice demands immediate attention, and your response to this moment determines the unfolding of your destiny. When Michael's presence is near, it is not by chance or coincidence but a divine calling recognized by the soul itself, a sacred invitation that you must not overlook. The urgency lies in the fact that skipping or delaying your response means forfeiting the shield of his protection, leaving you exposed to the trials and unseen dangers of life. At this very moment, your soul is stirred with recognition, for within you is the knowledge that this encounter is purposeful and meant to awaken your spirit to a higher plane of obedience and transformation. Michael descends from the heights not to display his power for its own sake but to reach down into the depths of your hidden struggles, lowering his sword not as a weapon of judgment but as a plea for you to grasp the opportunity extended for your deliverance and covering. The descent of Michael is not accidental but intentional, designed to bridge the gap between divine protection and your willingness to respond in obedience. And in that lower gesture lies a promise that if you accept his shield, your life will be safeguarded in ways unseen yet profoundly real. Every day your choices emit energy, either attracting light and divine protection or dispersing it into darkness and vulnerability, and here Michael calls you to remain attentive, to stay and listen. For the voice of heaven is preparing you not to turn away at this moment but to embrace the stillness that anchors your destiny. To remain still in listening is to allow the whispers of divine instruction to align your steps, preventing you from running after distractions that could rob you of the blessing hidden in this season. For there now stands before you a gate of opportunity, a spiritual opening that will not remain open forever. And if you choose to ignore it, you risk prolonging your pain and missing the unprecedented breakthroughs destined for this hour. This gate is not ordinary, for it carries within it the promise of transformation that spans not only your life but generations that come after you, and stepping through it requires courage, humility, and obedience. Even when unseen by your eyes, Michael has silently guarded your path, shielding you from harm, battles, and betrayals that could have destroyed you, and it is because of his quiet guardianship that you are alive and positioned for this breakthrough. Your survival through hardships was not a matter of chance but evidence of unseen protection that carried you through nights of despair and days of struggle, preserving you for this moment of encounter. Yet at this juncture, a choice presents itself before you, the choice of obedience or missed blessing, for responding with faith and alignment activates the approval of heaven and brings blessings that cannot be accessed otherwise, while ignoring this moment means Michael's shield will withdraw, leaving you vulnerable to attacks that could have been averted. The enemy understands the significance of this moment and thus will attempt to distract you with doubts, fears, and illusions, but perseverance in faith breaks the chains, lifts the curses, and releases victory into your life, ushering you into a new realm of spiritual growth. Completing this message and embracing its call means you enter into miracles that erase years of struggle, turning brokenness into fertile soil where blessings and new beginnings can grow, transforming pain into testimony and loss into gain. These miracles are not just for your personal satisfaction but serve as a testimony to the world, showing that faith and obedience can reshape a destiny once marred by hardship. The extended impact of your faith reaches far beyond you, touching your family, friends, and generations to come, for obedience not only secures your own breakthrough but also breaks generational curses, unlocking blessings that flow like rivers into the lives of your descendants. Your endurance, expressed through faithfulness, seals a covenant with heaven, and Michael's presence becomes a constant reminder that breakthrough and blessing are results of your obedience and perseverance. As this covenant is established, signs will accompany it to confirm the truth of this message. For within days you will begin to notice undeniable shifts. Closed doors will suddenly open, opportunities will present themselves, and peace will flood areas of your life that once were barren and dry. This new covenant brings with it a permanent shield, a divine covering that ensures future attacks cannot destroy you. For Michael's shield becomes a wall of protection around your life, ensuring that the arrows of adversity and the schemes of the enemy cannot pierce through. You will walk fortified, marked as chosen, not only with protection but with the empowerment of a spiritual crown of overcoming. Alongside protection comes acceleration, for blessings and answers that once seemed delayed or denied will now arrive with speed, and your path will shine with clarity, wisdom, and divine guidance. In this hour, angels are calling you to endure and obey, emphasizing that obedience is the currency of miracles, and your faith is the key that unlocks doors previously sealed. In obedience you will discover the eternal promise and inheritance that God has prepared, for you are chosen, loved, and covered beyond measure, with an inheritance that exceeds your imagination, filled with promises that secure both your earthly journey and eternal destiny. God is rewriting your life's narrative, shifting your story from pain to glory, from delay to destiny, from brokenness to breakthrough, initiating a new season of answered prayers, healing, and restored vision. Michael's sacrifice is honored as you finish the trials of the past, and in that finishing emerges not an end but a birth, a new beginning into realms of divine fulfillment where struggle is transformed into strength. Your spiritual environment shifts with this decision, turning your space into a sanctuary and battlefield covered by angels, where divine presence hovers and heaven itself aligns with your destiny. Obedience leaves behind a legacy, shaping not only your future but that of your children and descendants, for generational blessings are released, ensuring that your faith plants seeds of abundance for those who come after you. And in the final encouragement and blessing, Michael calls you to rise, to choose life, to walk into light, and to embrace the divine celebration that follows. For staying faithful unlocks abundance, joy, and victory prepared especially for you. As you continue on this path of obedience and faith, the presence of Archangel Michael becomes not just a momentary encounter but an abiding assurance that your destiny is divinely protected and guided toward fulfillment. The urgency of this moment is not meant to frighten you but to awaken you to the seriousness of the divine plan unfolding, for heaven itself has aligned to bring you into alignment with your calling, and Michael's descent serves as evidence that the time for delay is over. To ignore such a summons would be to close your ears to the whispers of divine purpose and to forfeit the chance to step into blessings reserved for those who heed the call of obedience. You are not left without guidance, for the power of staying and listening allows you to cultivate spiritual discernment, and in stillness you will hear the affirmations of heaven reminding you that you are chosen and set apart for something greater. Every act of faith you demonstrate radiates light into your surroundings, not only shielding you but also influencing those around you, becoming a beacon of protection and encouragement to others in your sphere. The gate of opportunity that now stands before you is no ordinary gate but a divinely orchestrated passage designed for your upliftment, and it is time-sensitive, meaning that hesitation could cost you what is meant to be received today. If you dare to step through, you step not only into your own breakthrough but into a dimension where your victories become catalysts for others' deliverance, creating ripples of transformation far beyond your immediate circle. Michael's guardianship, though silent, has been active from the beginning, shielding you from adversaries, betrayals, and dangers that could have ended your journey prematurely, and now he reveals that his protection was never passive but purposeful, positioning you for this defining moment of choice. To stand at this crossroads is to face the eternal question: will you obey and unlock the blessings of heaven, or will you turn away and allow the shield to fade, leaving yourself vulnerable to attacks that obedience would have shielded you from? This is why your choice matters deeply, for it is not merely about your present but about the generations to come, about the legacy you will leave, and about the unfolding of a destiny written before you were born. The enemy, knowing the significance of this moment, will seek to derail you with distractions, fears, and doubts, but perseverance in faith enables you to press forward, breaking chains that have bound your lineage, shattering curses, and entering into a level of spiritual victory that transforms every aspect of your life. It is through perseverance that you will find the strength to continue even when faced with opposition, and through that persistence you step into miracles that will redefine your understanding of God's power. These miracles will not only restore what was lost but will elevate you to new heights, creating a future where your brokenness is reimagined as the soil from which blessings grow, proving that nothing endured was wasted. Your life, once marked by struggles and hidden battles, becomes a testimony of divine intervention, inspiring those who witness your transformation and affirming that obedience to God always yields fruit. The impact of your faith will extend to your family and generations yet unborn, for your decision to obey releases blessings that flow like rivers into their lives, altering the trajectory of your lineage by breaking cycles of bondage and initiating cycles of prosperity and peace. This generational effect is the hallmark of covenant faithfulness, for when you endure in faith, you enter into agreement with heaven that secures blessings not just for yourself but for those who come after you, ensuring that your obedience becomes the seed of future abundance. Signs will accompany this covenant, visible shifts that confirm the authenticity of Michael's message, as closed doors suddenly swing open, barren areas flourish with opportunity, and peace enters the very places where turmoil once reigned. These confirmations will serve as reminders that your obedience has not gone unnoticed and that heaven responds when faith is activated. With obedience comes the permanent shield of protection, for Michael's covering will not only guard you from present dangers but also ensure that future attacks cannot succeed, fortifying you as one chosen to overcome. You will be marked with divine resilience, able to withstand trials without succumbing to defeat, because the shield of heaven does not falter. Alongside this shield comes acceleration, for blessings that once seemed delayed will arrive swiftly, opportunities will multiply, and your path will be illuminated with clarity and divine wisdom, guiding you toward decisions that align perfectly with God's plan. This acceleration is not random but purposeful, for it positions you to accomplish in a short span what might otherwise take years, and it demonstrates the divine favor resting upon you. Yet, even with favor, the invitation to endurance remains, for obedience must be sustained, and angels call you to remain steadfast, reminding you that miracles flow through faith that perseveres. Your obedience and faith become the currency that continually unlocks new levels of blessing, ensuring that you live in abundance not just for a season but as a way of life. The eternal promise awaiting you is greater than anything you can imagine, for God has prepared an inheritance that exceeds all expectations, one that secures not only provision for today but a covenant that stretches into eternity. In this promise, you are chosen, loved beyond measure, and guaranteed a future where divine surprises will unfold at every stage of your journey. God is not only giving you promises but is rewriting your life's narrative, taking the broken chapters and transforming them into testimonies of glory, taking losses and turning them into gains, and transforming your story into a masterpiece that reflects His power and love. You are stepping into a new season where answered prayers, healed wounds, and unexpected breakthroughs abound, and this season is marked not by struggle but by fulfillment. Michael's sacrifice undergirds this transformation, for as he intervenes on your behalf, his act signals the end of old battles and the beginning of a new chapter filled with divine victories. What once held you back will no longer bind you, for this is a moment of completion and birth, the conclusion of the old and the emergence of the new. The spiritual environment around you shifts as a result, becoming a sacred space filled with divine presence, angelic activity, and the assurance that heaven itself stands with you. This atmosphere empowers you to pursue your calling with boldness, knowing that both heaven and earth affirm your destiny. The legacy you create through obedience will ripple through time, shaping the lives of your descendants and ensuring that blessings flow through your lineage, making your faith the foundation of generational abundance. Finally, the encouragement of Michael resounds, reminding you to remain faithful, for faithfulness unlocks the fullness of joy and abundance prepared for you, ushering you into celebrations of victory where heaven rejoices over your endurance and obedience. As you step deeper into this divine journey under the guardianship of Archangel Michael, the message grows even clearer. Your destiny is not meant to be defined by defeat, delay, or despair but by victory, acceleration, and divine inheritance. The urgency of this calling presses on your spirit because heaven knows that hesitation often breeds regret, and to delay at such a time as this is to allow opportunities to slip through the cracks of indecision. Michael's presence is a reminder that divine timing operates differently than human timing, and when heaven opens a gate, it does so for a reason, signaling that now is the appointed time for change, for deliverance, and for breakthrough. You may have questioned why struggles seemed prolonged or why hardships visited your life so persistently, but Michael's message makes plain that endurance was never meant to destroy you but to shape you, to refine your character, and to prepare you for the magnitude of the blessings now prepared for you. Each struggle you endured was silently overseen by Michael, who shielded you from fatal harm and preserved your spirit even when everything around you seemed to collapse. He stood as the silent guardian, ensuring that what was meant to take you out would only strengthen you, and that survival itself would become a testimony of divine protection. Now, with the shield still extended, you are asked to choose obedience, for it is your yes that keeps the covering intact and releases the blessing that comes with surrender. Refusal or delay is not merely neutral but dangerous, for it leaves you uncovered and vulnerable to attacks that would otherwise be blocked by the protection Michael offers. The spiritual battle is fierce because the enemy knows the weight of what you are about to step into. Distractions arise, temptations increase, and doubts echo louder, but perseverance is the key that breaks chains, lifts curses, and secures victory that cannot be reversed. Every act of perseverance chips away at the barriers between you and your destiny, and every declaration of faith strengthens the walls of protection around your soul. Miracles await on the other side of obedience, Miracles that erase years of barrenness and transform broken pieces into stepping stones for greatness. Where there was lack, there will be provision. Where there was sickness, there will be healing. Where there was despair, there will be hope renewed, all as a testimony of the divine power that accompanies your faithfulness. These transformations are not isolated events but part of a greater narrative, one that impacts not only your present but your legacy, proving that your faith has ripple effects far beyond your own lifetime. Your obedience ensures that curses which lingered in your family line are broken and that blessings flow freely into generations to come, creating a heritage of abundance and divine favor. This generational impact reveals the weight of your decision, for what you choose today will echo into the lives of your children and their children, shaping destinies in ways unseen. Endurance, therefore, becomes a covenant sealed with faithfulness, a divine agreement that as you remain steadfast, heaven commits to protecting and blessing you in return. Signs will follow this covenant, undeniable shifts that confirm its authenticity. Doors that were long shut will open suddenly, opportunities will chase you down, and peace will rest in areas where strife once reigned. These signs are not coincidences but divine affirmations that the covenant is real and active in your life. With the covenant comes the permanent shield, a covering that ensures future battles will not undo you, for Michael's presence guarantees not just temporary relief but lasting protection. You will walk with confidence, marked as one who is chosen, and that spiritual confidence becomes your crown, making you resilient in the face of challenges and victorious in every battle. Blessings will begin to accelerate, arriving in ways that surprise even you, as long-awaited promises come to pass and unexpected favor opens doors you never dreamed possible. This acceleration is proof that obedience speeds up destiny, compressing timelines and allowing what seemed delayed for years to manifest in moments. Yet acceleration does not negate endurance, for heaven continues to invite you to stand firm, to remain obedient, and to remember that obedience is the currency that buys miracles, and faith is the key that unlocks every door of favor. The eternal promise that lies before you is not simply material blessing but the inheritance of divine relationship, an eternal covenant that assures you are loved beyond measure, chosen beyond question, and destined for glory beyond imagination. In this inheritance you will find not only provision but surprises, blessings that exceed expectation, and promises that span from this life into eternity. The rewriting of your life's narrative continues as God turns old pages of sorrow into new chapters of joy, transforming defeats into victories and ensuring that no pain was wasted but instead became the soil from which your destiny blossoms. A season of newness is here, marked by answered prayers, fulfilled dreams, and the kind of breakthroughs that change the course of your life forever. Michael's sacrifice signals the closing of old battles and the dawn of new beginnings, for what once held you back is now broken, and what once seemed impossible is now within reach. This is not just an end but a new birth, a crossing over into realms of divine fulfillment where your destiny unfolds unhindered. As this happens, the spiritual environment around you shifts dramatically, transforming your home, your mind, and your atmosphere into sanctuaries of divine presence. You will sense angels at work, feel divine alignment in your decisions, and walk with the awareness that heaven and earth are partnering with your destiny. In this atmosphere, your obedience shapes a legacy that cannot be erased, for what you choose today will shape your lineage for generations, ensuring that your descendants inherit not curses but blessings, not despair but hope, not defeat but victory. And in the culmination of this message, Michael's encouragement resounds. Rise, remain faithful, and embrace the celebration of abundance that heaven has prepared for you, for your endurance has not been in vain, and your obedience has opened the gates of divine favor. As this divine narrative moves toward its completion, it becomes clear that the call of Archangel Michael is not just a momentary inspiration but a lifelong transformation, a reordering of your priorities and an awakening of your spirit to divine realities that were hidden in plain sight. The urgency that began this message continues to echo because time itself bends under the weight of divine opportunity, and heaven's invitation is meant to be seized now, not postponed to a later date when distractions have quieted or circumstances have changed. For the truth is that distractions never cease, circumstances rarely align perfectly, and the enemy will always whisper reasons to delay. But obedience silences every excuse and unlocks the miracle prepared for you in this very hour. Michael's descent into your life is not casual or coincidental but deliberate and necessary, a reminder that you are not left to wander aimlessly through life but are guided, protected, and covered by a celestial power that fights for you even when you cannot see the battle. His sword lowered toward you is both a plea and a promise. A plea for your obedience and a promise of protection that cannot be broken once you accept it. The stillness of staying and listening is not weakness but strength, for in stillness your ears tune to heaven's instructions, and in that silence you gain clarity about choices, decisions, and paths that will shape your destiny. You are reminded that the gate of opportunity before you is time-sensitive, and though the gate is wide today, tomorrow it may be closed, for heaven's windows open with purpose and must be entered with faith. If you dare to walk through, you step into a space where blessings not only restore you but multiply into blessings for generations to come, leaving a legacy of light, protection, and abundance that outlives your earthly days. And even if you doubt your strength to endure, remember that Michael's guardianship has never faltered. He has stood silently, warding off unseen dangers, blocking attacks you never even noticed, and carrying you through seasons where despair threatened to consume you. That same guardian now stands beside you, urging you to choose wisely, to obey, and to receive the shield that will remain with you permanently. The choice remains yours, obedience or missed blessing, and heaven records your answer, for your yes sets in motion blessings that overflow, while hesitation causes the shield to vanish, leaving you open to the chaos that obedience would have shielded. The battle intensifies when obedience is near, but perseverance breaks every chain and ushers in victory that nothing can steal, and this is the season where your persistence will birth miracles greater than you imagined. Those miracles are not fleeting moments of wonder but lasting transformations, changing the very soil of your life into fertile ground for abundance, healing, restoration, and peace. The impact of your faith will continue to ripple outward, affecting not just your family and friends but even strangers who witness your testimony, proving that obedience births not just private blessings but public testimonies of God's power. As you endure, your faith seals a covenant with heaven, and Michael's guardianship guarantees that blessings flow not as isolated events but as a continual stream into your life and lineage. This covenant will be marked with signs, doors opening, opportunities manifesting, peace entering chaos, all confirming that your obedience has been noticed by heaven and rewarded accordingly. With the covenant comes Michael's permanent shield, a divine covering that fortifies you against future attacks, ensuring that no weapon formed against you can prosper. You will walk marked as chosen, resilient in trials, and victorious in battles, carrying a crown of spiritual authority that announces your identity as one who overcomes. Alongside this protection comes acceleration, blessings rushing toward you with divine speed, propelling you into seasons of fulfillment that you once thought distant or impossible. Yet even in acceleration, the call to endurance remains, for heaven reminds you that consistency in obedience sustains the flow of miracles and ensures that your faith does not waver under the weight of abundance. The eternal promise of inheritance awaits, a covenant of love that secures not only provision but the assurance that you are chosen, loved beyond comprehension, and destined for glory beyond imagination. God Himself has prepared surprises that will exceed your expectations, blessings that will astound you, and an inheritance that stretches into eternity, confirming that your story is not finished but only beginning. The rewriting of your life's narrative continues as past pains are transformed into testimonies, old losses are redefined as stepping stones, and every scar becomes a sign of survival and strength. A new season of answered prayers, healed wounds, and breakthrough victories awaits you, all because you chose obedience and aligned yourself with heaven's call. Michael's sacrifice underscores this season, declaring that old battles have ended, chains have been broken, and a new chapter of destiny has begun. This moment is not just an ending but a sacred beginning, the birth of a realm of fulfillment where heaven and earth align to propel you into your future. Your spiritual environment is now shifted into a sanctuary of divine presence, where angels surround you, guidance becomes clear, and your atmosphere is charged with victory. This sacred environment not only empowers you but shapes your legacy, ensuring that your obedience today lays the foundation for generational blessings tomorrow. Your children, their children, and countless descendants will walk in the light of your faith, inheriting blessings that flow because you chose obedience over hesitation, faith over fear, and destiny over delay. And so, the final encouragement comes from Michael himself. Rise, remain faithful, and rejoice, for the shield is yours, the inheritance is secure, and the blessings are unfolding. Stay steadfast, for in your endurance lies the power to unlock more than you dreamed, and in your obedience lies the key to an eternity of promise. Let your story be one that heaven celebrates, and let your journey testify that faith, when embraced fully, transforms not just one life but countless lives across time and space. And now, as you carry this message forward, let your spirit remain open, let your steps remain guided, and let your heart remain anchored in the certainty that you are covered, chosen, and destined for greatness. If this message has stirred something deep within you, if you feel the weight of Archangel Michael's call and the hope of his shield upon your life, then continue this journey with us beyond this moment. At Archangel Inspire, we share insights, encouragements, and divine revelations that strengthen your faith, align your spirit, and remind you daily of the protection and promise that heaven has assigned to you. Subscribe today, not just as a follower of a channel, but as one choosing to stay within the flow of divine encouragement, so that every message you receive becomes another step into your breakthrough. Join a community of believers who, like you, are walking under Michael's shield, choosing obedience, and leaving legacies of light. Subscribe to Archangel Inspire now, where inspiration meets divine guidance, and where every message reminds you that heaven is on your side.